Alright guys, welcome to another G Auto Repair YouTube video. And today we're going to be talking about shocks, struts, how to tell if you need to replace them. Many times I have seen where they replace shocks just because, and they're really not bad. They think they're bad, they go ahead and order them, they want to replace them, and they're really not bad to begin with. So how do we test them? Well, that's what we're going to cover here today. And today we have here a 1996 Mercury Grand Marquis, and it does have bad shocks, so it's a perfect test vehicle on how to cover this subject. So the purpose of the shocks or the strut, depending on what system you got, is to control the oscillation of the suspension, the up and down bouncing movement. It does not control curb height or the height of the car. That is the job of the springs. Okay, so if you have a car that is kind of leaning to one side, then chances are your springs are fatigued or broken or whatever, and that's why it's kind of leaning to that one side. That would be a spring problem. That's what controls the height. The shock is supposed to control the oscillation of that spring. So if you're driving down the road and you notice that your car feels kind of bouncy, then chances are you have worn shocks. But to test is a very relatively simple test. And let me give the camera to my camera boy here. And all you're gonna do is we're just gonna create a bounce. And we want to see no more than 1.5 bounces. So it should kind of bounce, go down, and then come back and stay there. It shouldn't go that it shouldn't bounce that much. So you can see there it bounced at least 2.5, 3 times. And if we do it again, you can notice that the car keeps on bouncing. I hope you guys can hear me good because it's kind of windy out here today. So that tells you right now that these shocks are worn. If you go to the front, you're going to notice the same thing. So that right there tells you that the shocks need to be replaced because they're worn, they're not controlling that bouncing movement as it should. And obviously if you have like McPherson strut type, you may have noises too, so maybe even if the shock is good, you may have some noises, so you're better off just changing the whole thing anyway. So if you have worn bushings and things like this and things of that nature. In this case we don't have McPherson, we got a different, we just got a shock that you just replace. The spring is separate, so we would just replace that one, and that would help out with that bouncing action. So the car may seem like it's riding relatively smooth, but when you're driving down the road you'll notice that it's more bouncier than normal. So I hope this video helps. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video where we cover more topics. Thanks and ciao.